Hey y'all, it's Amanda and this is my Texas Zone 8 garden, and today we're going to be doing a few different things. We're going to start the last round of zinnias for this year. I'm also going to be planting out a couple of new varieties of plants out in the shade garden, and we're going to be potting up powwow white coneflowers. Okay, so first things first, I want to get in one last round of zinnias. Most zinnias take anywhere from like 50 to 60 days to 90 days to from germination to bloom. So I'm right at the edge of it. But a lot of my current zinnias are kind of petering out, so I really feel like I need to go ahead and get some in and done, and especially if we end up having a kind of a later fall, which definitely happens quite frequently. Sometimes I have blooms all the way in through into mid December. So I'm just basically going to start with my Amazon seed trays. I am starting these inside because our temperatures are so unpredictable right now. I just really want the consistency of getting them started inside, getting them a really healthy start with lots of light all day long. My grow lights are on minimum 14 hours a day, and actually they're on 16 hours a day. And so I just want to do it this way, and then I can get these transplanted outside. Then I don't have to worry about when they come up as little baby seedlings. I don't have to worry about insects munching on them. Right now we're dealing with a lot of grasshopper damage. And it's just kind of the nature of the game. I've had some people ask me about how do I get rid of grasshoppers. I don't. There's just, it's not worth the battle. I'm not willing to invest the time or the money to combat an insect as aggressive as what do you call it, grasshoppers. A lot of times they just do their damage and then you just come back and, I mean, the plants will rebound. So that's at least been my particular experience. Okay, we're going to be starting two varieties of zinnias today. The first one is Zinnia Senora, and it is from germination maturity is about 75 to 90 days, 36 to 40 inches tall, pinch at 8 to 12 inches tall, and that helps it branch out and bloom. It prefers full sun, and it's a beautiful warm salmon apricot, blooms about 3 to 5 inches wide. So really nice, beautiful colors. These are only about 1/4 of an inch deep. This is the deal about botanical interest seed packets. They just don't open well. Which I know seems like not a big deal, but it's super annoying. So we're going to go ahead and do this whole packet, and I'm just going to drop a couple of seeds in each seed cell. All right, and then I'm just going to press those down. Just like that, and then I'm just going to lightly cover them with a little bit more soil, but not much. All right, and then we will fill up our tray halfway with water. And go ahead and sink our tray down in there. And then we will place a humidity dome, and then I'll show y'all how to set it up under the lights with heat mats. The next variety is just a mix of Cut and Come Again by Botanical Interest. And I got online to like see specifically like how long those take to mature, and I couldn't find any information about this particular mix from Botanical Interest. In fact, the Senora, which is also Botanical Interest, I had to go to a different page to find out when the maturity was for them, because Botanical Interest didn't have it. So we're not going to start all of these because there's quite a few seeds in here. So I'm just going to put a couple in each seed cell. Go ahead and push those down, making sure they have great contact with the soil. And then we're going to just lightly cover them with a little bit of additional soil. All right, so we want to make sure our humidity domes are on with the dial closed so that you can build up enough humidity in here. Now, zinnias like to be warm when they're germinating. So let me plug one of my mats in. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and put these up here under the lights and hope for really great germination. Now, these typically will emerge in 3 to 10 days. If they're on the heat mics like that, they're going to emerge quicker at 3 days. And we want them to emerge quickly because we are trying to get these outside and hopefully harvest some blooms before our first frost hit. Once frost hits in our area, zinnias are usually pretty kaput. There's really no way to cover them. It just kind of is. Now, my average last frost is mid-November, so we're really kind of pushing it, but we'll see. It's warm enough that these will probably grow pretty fast, so I feel pretty confident in them. And I have started around this time in the past and still been able to harvest some blooms. So here's hoping. Even if I don't get to harvest blooms, it's still really fun to start them, and it'll be nice to see some fresh green out there amongst everything that's been fried this summer. Now, once these seedlings get going, or once I've sprouted, I will take the humidity domes off and I will start fertilizing these fairly quickly, fertilizing them with Alaskan fish emulsion fertilizer, and really try to grow them on a little bit faster. Having them under my grow light 16 hours a day should be extremely helpful in doing that. Okay, so we have coneflowers, Powwow white echinacea coneflowers, and these guys need to be potted up into larger containers. Now, a couple of reasons why is I'm not ready to plant these out in the garden. Another reason why is a lot of these are going to Kristen, and she's not ready to plant them up in the garden, but they're getting to the point where I'm starting to see a lot more of their roots down low. Some of the plants are getting taller than the actual seed cell, which also tells me that it's time to pot them up. And then I just don't want them to get stunted at this stage since they are perennials that I'm growing from seed. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna work with my favorite potting soil, Burger BM7. We need some more of it. All right, and I am gonna go ahead and add a little bit of fertilizer to this. Sometimes I add granular fertilizer when I'm potting up. Most of the time I don't, but I am hoping to move these. I'm not gonna keep them inside for too long. We do have cooler weather on the way. So I would like to get these moved outside, and if that ends up being the case, well, then I am going to want some fertilizer in there instead of just having to always fertilize with my liquid Alaskan fish emulsion fertilizer. Now, it was really fun because these Powwow White, some of them were from Swallowtail Garden Seeds, and some of them were that I harvested myself. I do think that the ones from Swallowtail Garden Seeds, these right here, all but 3 cells germinated. And then these right here are the ones that I did, and I would say it's only about half germination. So the ones from Swallowtail Garden Seeds did have much better germination, but still it was kind of neat to be able to have my own seeds. I thought that was kind of cool. All right, so you definitely want to have moist soil when transplanting these seedlings. You don't want them to be dry because they're more likely to break. So you can see the roots are fairly mature, not giant, but still doing really well. And then I'm just going to tuck that down into the container just like that. There's something incredibly satisfying about growing things from seed, but growing perennials from seed, that one's next level. So I'm really excited that I was able to get these going. Coneflowers are a really easy one to get going from seed. So if that's something you want to try out, highly encourage you to do so. All right, then we're gonna get these all lined up in a reservoir tray. Let's see if we can get them all in here. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is go ahead and fill this tray up pretty high with water and allow these just to soak up that water, and then put them under the grow lights. Once I feel like they're really well established in these containers, we'll be moving them outside to grow on outside in these containers prior to planting them out, probably mid to late fall. Okay, now we're going to head outside and I'm going to do plant 2 new varieties of plants in the shade garden that I picked up the other day from Green Acres Nursery in Melissa, Texas. Okay, real quick, I want to show y'all that some animal has been digging around. See where it sees darker everywhere? I'm digging around down there. You can see it dug its way out all the way over here. Not sure what's going on, but there's nothing to find here. They just dug down and ran into a weed barrier. So anyway, good times. Okay, so we're going to add a couple of new plants. I'm going to start with one right here. We're going to put that Siam tulip there. So let's get started. Okay, so I picked up the Siam tulip from, what do you call it, the other day? Why can't I speak? From Green Acres the other day. So I was thinking about putting it here, but I'm realizing that I had a plant there. So I think I'm going to have to move aside my daughter's fairy stuff real quick. Because I think that I have, and it's dormant right now, so it's hard to tell right here. I think that I have a bleeding heart. And it goes dormant during the hottest times of the year. All right. And while I'm getting this planted, I'm going to get it planted with Biotone. I'll tell you all the specifics regarding it. Okay, this Siam tulip splash gets a couple of feet tall. It prefers to be a little bit cooler environment and loves humidity, so that's why we're here in the shade. It can do part shade to full sun. It does really need some good draining soil, which is super important, and that's really great in this particular planter. Okay, and then for the next one, I've got my variegated fig, creeping fig or fig ivy. And once again, I've got all my little girls' little fairy stuff up here. And I say little girl, she's 15, y'all. So I was thinking that I wanted to get that planted up in this particular area so that it can trail down the side, or I can train it up along the fence at some point if I want. Now, I did read that it's not necessary to add fertilizer for the creeping fig, so I'm not going to stress about it. The creeping fig is a perennial in zones 8 through 11 and does grow quite large. It's very easy to propagate as well, and I think I will be giving that a try because I would like to tuck this into some other areas of the garden. It is also known for being toxic to pets and does prefer partial to dappled shade. All right. Just like that. And how pretty is that going to be trailing over? That should be awesome. All right, feel pretty good about that. A couple of plants planted, which will be really nice. That Siam tulip should add a little bit of color, and then you can already tell from this variegated creeping fig, that bright variegated with the white, it's going to add a lot of like pop in this corner, which I think will be really nice. More and more I will shift. I've been truthfully so far, I've been doing mostly perennials in the shade garden, and that is the overall goal, mostly perennials in this area, so that it's little maintenance and it's more of just come and enjoy this space as opposed to constantly having to plant it. But I hope you guys also enjoyed seeing me pot up those coneflowers, those powwow white coneflowers. They are amazing plants. I'm really excited to have more of them in my garden, and to see me go ahead and get some zinnias started for my very last round of zinnias for this gardening season. All right, you all, as always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Every time you like and comment, it helps grow my channel so much. And if you don't feel comfortable leaving a comment, just drop me an emoji below letting me know you made it to the end and that you say hi. And be sure to check me out on my social media outlets, including Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. As always, she's a mad gardener or a decorator or anything else that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all.